I am really glad to see that national security experts are increasingly using a term that I've been talking about on the program for years and that you may now be familiar with. And that term is stochastic terrorism to describe what Donald Trump is doing. We have now heard from such national security experts as Juliet Kayyem and others who are saying that when Donald Trump goes out there and insists that it's been stolen and says they must resist and that they must fight and that it's an attack on his voters and democracy and all of these things. When he makes these claims about electoral fraud that are both completely unequivocal from Trump, but completely baseless in fact, Donald Trump is making it more likely that some of his followers are going to go out and take to the streets and do real world violence. And the people that sometimes speak on Trump's behalf will often hide behind these are sometimes jokes that are being told or things that are being taken too literally or whatever the case may be. But as Juliet Kayyem points out, and this is written about in a very good Mother Jones article, we've also heard from others like Corey Shake and other people. This can really encourage people to go completely crazy with real world violence. And the term stochastic terrorism refers to the idea that stochastic terrorism refers to random but predictable violence. OK, if my audience is big enough and I every day say somebody should really do something about Joe Schmo. Somebody really needs to deal with the problem of Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo is attacking our way of life. Joe Schmo, if he's allowed to continue doing what he's doing, is going to be the end of America as we know it. If my audience is big enough, it becomes predictable that someone in my audience is going to take that to heart and commit an act of real world violence. Now, it will be random in terms of who does it, where, and when. That's where the term stochastic terrorism comes from. We're talking about a confidence interval. We're talking about, it refers to terms often used in finance and science and relating to distributions. But if you're speaking to enough people, it becomes predictable that somebody is going to take action. And that is exactly what a lot of national security experts are now saying. And senior federal law enforcement officials have been saying that the level of concern is extremely high, that they are seeing threatening rhetoric and levels of anger as a result of the things that Donald Trump and his defenders who continue to claim he actually won. Joe Biden didn't really win. It was stolen. There was fraud. It's all part of the conspiracy. This is something that is very dangerous. And I'm glad to see national security experts speaking in no uncertain terms. And the term stochastic terrorism is exactly the right one. My hope is that this will not turn to real world violence beyond what we have already seen. And we already saw some of it at the so-called Million MAGA March, which fell just a little short of 1 million people over the weekend. I hope that it doesn't come to that. Let me know what you're thinking about this. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. We will take a break and have a fantastic program for you today. One of our sponsors today is Magic Spoon. The reason I'm such a fan of Magic Spoon is they allow me to enjoy the delicious breakfast cereals I loved as a kid without all the sugar and without the unhealthy ingredients, because Magic Spoon makes breakfast cereal that you really can't tell apart from those tasty, sugary cereals that we all know. But each serving of Magic Spoon has no sugar, 3 net carbs, and 11 grams of protein. So it's perfect for someone on a low carb keto diet, just anybody trying to eat healthier and cut back on the sugar. You can choose from cocoa, frosted fruity, cinnamon, blueberry, or peanut butter. They all taste amazing. And Magic Spoon now lets you create your own customized variety pack with the flavors you choose. They really do stand by their product and will refund 100% of your money if you don't love it. No questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pakman to build your own custom variety box today. Make sure to use promo code Pakman to get free shipping. The link is right underneath this video.